All right, so we are showing you a little extended version, tips and tricks for moving your aircraft with an Alpha Tug. And we're going to show you both with pivot locked and unlocked. Some of you may like to leave the pivot always locked. That's great. That's why we give the option. And some will leave the pivot always unlocked. And we found that some customers will pull the airplane with the pivot unlocked like this and push the airplane with the pivot locked. So we'll show you all of those. The main thing of this is to show you how to do it wrong. Because if we show you the ways to do it wrong, what's left over actually works. So the first thing when you're hooking up the airplane, and this is on another video, but I'll show you, is turn the power off. Because when the power's off, this is easy to maneuver. And while you're here looking at the aircraft to hook up the arm, you don't bump the throttle and drive it into the aircraft. So hook it up, get this arm hooked up, and make sure this is all the way down. So one way to do this wrong is to hook up your aircraft and come to here and stop. What we want is that solid click. It's an over center lock, and then it can't come off of your aircraft and damage your wheel pants. So there's one. Now another way to use your Alpha Tug wrong is to just floor it, especially on a painted floor. This is a very slippery floor, and this is the worst case scenario. This is a painted slippery floor and it's dusty. So this is the worst traction scenario. And we live in Utah, and we get people that come here and I floor it, my car won't go anywhere because they've never driven in snow. Well, if you're on a slippery surface, don't floor it. So let's show you what happens if you do this wrong. I'm just going to floor it. Oh, the airplane's not going anywhere. And it won't. But if you push down a little pressure, it'll go. Now, if I push down, I can push down really hard and just floor it. It'll still end up peeling out. And we don't want you to have to fight with that. So the best trick is just barely push the throttle. Now, if I just barely push the throttle and I'm even not pushing down, it'll come. But if I just pin it, it's just going to peel out and leave black dust on your floor. It won't stain it. It's dust like that. It's just powder. It'll wipe off. But just small, less is more. Now, this Tug does not have the high-low range. If you have an Alpha 3, you can switch it into low range. We always recommend moving your aircraft in low range, not because of the Tug. It can do it in high range. It really doesn't know the difference or care. But in low range, you have more control, and it's easier to just barely crack that throttle and let the plane start moving. Once the plane is moving, you can advance the throttle, give it more, and it's going to go. And if you were on the slippery surface out here and you wanted to go fast, push down a little bit more, get it full throttle. Once it's up to speed, I'm not pushing down anymore. It'll pull the airplane. You just need to help it get started. The Tug only weighs 110 pounds. This aircraft, right now, I've got almost full fuel in here, so it's pretty heavy. So it's getting it started. Now that's going, you can see I'm not pushing down. It'll pull the plane all day long. Now, moving the airplane back into the hangar, pulling's easy, especially with that pivot. Now, if I'm pulling and it's locked, it works like the other Tugs in the marketplace. And this does work. I can pull the aircraft, but if I try to steer, it doesn't want to steer. And so you have to pick it up and turn and set down. There's nothing wrong with that. That's kind of how we've been doing it for a long time. We just give you the option that you can unlock it and have it follow you. It's much easier for pulling. Now for pushing, with this pivot locked and the pin in that position, if I want to push the airplane, again, it's really hard to steer because if I try to just steer, one tire is going to come up in the air or the other tire, and the differential just puts power to the tire with the least traction. And so what I want to do is just let it push, and if I need to redirect, you pick up the Tug like you have any other Tug and go again. And say, okay, I'm liking that. I want to straighten out a little bit more. I want to come over here and start turning into the hangar. And for a lot of people, because we've been pushing with tow bars since we first got our pilot's license, we understand swinging the handle this way and this way does that to the tail. Now, for those who have not used a pivot pushing an airplane, we call this expert mode. Now, here's where you have the option to unpivot so we don't have to pick up the Tug and set it down. You can lock it, and that's why we give you the option. You choose what works best for you. The challenge with it unpivoted is none of us have been moving airplanes like this. It's like backing a trailer. Left and right is opposite. And so if I want to go a certain way, I got to kind of steer the opposite way of what I'm thinking. What we found, the ways to do this wrong is to wait till the tire's jackknifed. Don't wait for it to be jackknifed. And the other way to do it wrong is to be in a hurry. This plane's moving plenty quick. I have lots of control. I don't have to go line up the plane 2 or 3 times. I can squeeze it back here into my hangar. I have the tail of my airplane I have to worry about on my carbon cub. I've got this truck over here to worry about. The biggest trick to this is to keep the handle moving. The way to do this wrong, here's how you do this wrong, is just start pushing until it jackknifes. And go, wait, the tug's turning, I can't steer it. Right, this is how you do it wrong, right? If that happens, just pick up the tug and straighten it out. The other way to do this wrong is to floor it. If you ever seen anyone back a boat down a boat ramp at high speed, you've seen a boat get wrecked and a truck get wrecked. It's kind of reverse, and so we want you to be able to just take your time and go slow, and also get used to it. We have customers like, oh yeah, it works great for a while, and then I jackknife it. Well, slow down or practice a little bit, or just pin it and do it the other way. But I want to show you again as I'm coming in, if I just move this a lot like this, there's nothing wrong with that. The plane's still going to kind of go in a straight line. So don't be afraid to pivot. You don't need to. I'm just showing you that getting used to what the plane does when I push the handle back and forth, there's nothing wrong with that. More movement is better. If you try to just do one little movement and then expect this trailer, as it were, to back all the way down next to your house without ever making another adjustment, it's not going to happen. And now I'm just going to swing my wingtip over here. I'm going to take my tail, get it away from my carbon cub, and then let it come back in, make sure everything's clear, and get it parked. Now, if I didn't like this, and I want to do it again, just come back out. Or if you want to, you can still pick up the tug and realign things and put it down, almost as though you're pinned. And so you can handle it any way you find best. But this, we just want to show you, some people find this is super easy. And the people who find it super easy and the people that find it hard, we don't know why. I have no reason for it. It's definitely not a man-woman thing. It's not I can back a trailer. Why can't I back this? Of other people, I can't back a trailer, but this is easy for me. I don't know why it's hard for some people to push like that. I find it to be pretty easy. I much rather just leave this in the pivot position all the time. I move my carbon cub without always pivoting. But I have found that we have customers like, hey, I love the pivot when I'm pulling my plane because the plane just follows me around the corners and goes anywhere. And then they'll say, but I'll put this pin in and lock it when I'm pushing the plane and pick the tug up and swing it left and right like they're used to with, say, an old Easy Tow 40 or any other dragger style aircraft tug. Our goal was to give you the option. You can be fixed and rigid like all the other tugs on the market, or you can pivot and you decide what's best for you. One, the other, a combination of both. Hope that's helpful.